Another developing story this lunchtime from Tottenham this time. Let's get the latest on their deal for Pedro Porro from Sporting Lisbon. Mark McAdam joins us to talk more. So why is this hanging in the balance?
This is one of those transfer sagas, isn't it? It's on, it's off, it's on again, it's off again, it's on. And over the course of the last 24 hours, it appears once again the deal for Pedro Porro is off. However, talks continue. Now, the 23-year-old Sporting Lisbon right-back is a clear target for Tottenham and someone they'd absolutely love to sign in this window. He's played 14 league games and 5 games in the Champions League this season, but the deal is currently in the balance. Now, basically, Sporting don't want to lose a player of his quality in this window without a replacement lined up. They want him to be a big part of the second phase of the season, so therefore they're reluctant to let him go. However, Tottenham are willing to pay the release clause, which we understand to be around 45 million euros. So Tottenham are happy with the deal financially. However, Sporting don't want to let him go, hence why this has become a little bit of an on-off situation. We know that the player is desperate for the move. He wants to come back to England because, of course, he was at Manchester City a few years ago. It looked like at the weekend that he was saying his goodbyes to the fans after the game.
We've seen that before, and that doesn't often work.
It doesn't often work. So that's where this one becomes a little bit complicated.
Right.
Now, The Athletic reported that the deal was off. We understand talks continue, but this is increasingly becoming a difficult deal for Tottenham to get done.
So if it doesn't happen, what are the implications then for Spurs and, of course, Antonio Conte?
Well, this will be a huge blow for Antonio Conte and Tottenham Hotspur. We know that Pedro Porro has been their #1 target in this January transfer window. We're currently on January the 30th, and it's taken some time to get to this situation. We know that Conte wants to play with wing-backs. He wants those players that are key to the way he sets up his team, and Pedro Porro would be absolutely significant to that. So therefore, if Conte doesn't get the #1 player he wanted in this window, what does that say about his future, which we know is hanging in the air at the moment? Also, what does it say about the football club's desire to give the manager the players he wants? That's another big question mark. It has been a really positive summer. However, the transfer activity at Tottenham and the strengthening of the squad will be judged really after 2, 3, 4 windows, which is exactly what Antonio Conte said last summer. It's going to take time to rebuild this Tottenham side. He had a good summer. If he has a weak winter, where does that leave them for the summer, where we know that he's out of contract? So this would be a huge blow, particularly for the manager. We know that they signed Arnaut Danjuma, and that's a positive, but they need to build upon that.
What has this all got to do with young Hector Bellerin, of course, the former Arsenal player? Why has this got a bit of a domino effect going on?
Well, you said it there, domino effect. Now, we always talk at this point in the transfer window about the domino effect because so many deals hinge on other deals. Not many clubs want to lose a player halfway through a season without having someone already in the building or a replacement lined up ready to go. And this is exactly the same for Sporting at the moment. We know that the talks continuing between Tottenham and the football club. Should they lose Pedro Porro, guess who they want to go and get? The former Arsenal man, Hector Bellerin.
OK, all right, that kind of makes sense to me then. Brian Heel, he's going to join his former club, Sevilla, until the end of the season. Was that a surprise? Yeah,
big surprise, really, because he's a player that's recently got into Antonio's first team. He's impressed recently. He's impressed the coaching staff at Tottenham as well. Started against Aston Villa and against Crystal Palace in the Premier League, and he's going back to the club where he came from. So, of course, it's only a loan. There's no obligation or option at this stage, so it's just a straight loan where he can go and get some more game time at Sevilla. But, yeah, I think this will frustrate the fans because you've just started to see him come into the fray. He's looked good. He's been effective in matches. He looks like the young 21-year-old that they bought is starting to fulfil his potential. He just needs game time. But guess what? He's not going to get game time at Spurs because he's heading back to Sevilla.
And he's going halfway through the season as well, which is another, leaves them kind of, I don't know.
Leaves them potentially short, although they have got Arnaut Danjuma, they've got Kulusevski, they've got Son. They do have good depth and good strength in depth in those attacking bursts. But still, this is a player that perhaps Tottenham fans feel was one for the future. And if he just gets into that side now, next season, he could be brilliant. So this is perhaps like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back for the player.